Hi guys, Lenormand time. So this is going to be mid-May to mid of June. So this is actually one of my favorites, if not the favorite. My steady clients just like, do Lenormand cat, please do Lenormand. It kind of like tells you, hey, look left and look right. This is who might be anticipating what can happen. You know, with Lenormand you get lots of things that you kind of like we hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst. And this is sort of like almost telling you kind of like, hey, jump over this, etc., etc. So also really quickly, the school is starting on the 15th. So last call for this, kind of like check my website, cattara.ca, and check kind of like the schooling schedule. The second thing, my speed up promotion is still on, which is awesome. Instead of 3 weeks, you kind of get a reading within a week. And I also upgraded Rush, so instead of 7, you get it in 3 days. And Urgent, which used to be 3 days turnaround, now you get it in 24 hours. So if you kind of like really want to get a reading, this is a really good time, because one thing that I miss in Canada is spring. We kind of transition from winter to the summer. So just a couple of weeks ago we had a snowstorm, and now my air conditioning is working like full force. So hence I'm going to be spending some actual time with myself and with my close ones in the summer. So kind of like try to squeeze in yourself in time. And so I also wished happy birthday and happy belated birthdays to all Tauruses, as well as the birthdays for Geminis, who will be also celebrating during this period. So without much further ado, guys, I also ask you to please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and all the best. Love you. Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your monthly reading running middle of May until I guess middle of June. Again, let me stress this, that this is general reading, meaning I am actually not identifying individual energy. So this can actually have bits and pieces that can resonate to you. Also, it could resonate to your ascendant and your moon sign. And this is also something that I would suggest you to check and kind of like try to compile elements together. In Lenormand, we have two major significators, the lady and the gentleman. So either of them can be you, general, neutral, right? We are in the general reading, so it at this stage kind of like really reading the energy in between. So one can be you, another one can be a person inquiring or somebody who is yet to come. And again, situations can be seen in many different ways. And this is called Grand Tableau, by the way, which means this entire deck is on the table and I'm reading the entire landscape. That could be in front of you, various kind of combinations. So let me start. Scorpio, I am seeing here the whip. And I have to show you this, how this whip is shown in the other deck. So you would right away get a message. This is like really up your alley. Oh, kind of like really games could be the basically name of a day. And what is really kind of like cool over here, I might kind of like use this deck if you need any clarifiers. What is really cool over here is that this is like falling in the house of the ring. So this kind of like means that there is like some kind of commitment that is currently over here. Look at this, you're trying to stabilize. Also, you guys, some of you are falling in the house of a stork, which is telling me that which is really good, and the stork here is in the house of communication, so it looks like these two cards you're having over here as well. So kind of like it's reflecting, meaning that the situation you're going through right now is actually going to some sense repeat down the road. So almost looks to me that you're setting grounds for dealing with a matter, and that matter could be money and well-being, because the bear was right out of the gate a card, and the bear is also motherly energy, being very protective, right? But also the bear talks about how to kind of like position yourself to kind of do well long time in the future. So sort of like, you know, when you go to a job interview, I mean, they ask you, oh, okay, where is your plan in 5 years? Most people are like, oh, are asking me even this question. I don't know where I'll be, like, I mean, later on today. The truth is that this kind of like delayed gratification has been underlined many times in psychology. They have learned that children, they have learned that they actually managed to absorb that concept. You kind of like, they did experiments. Do you want a candy now, or you want a full box of chocolates later? And, you know, the kids that kind of like manage to delay things kind of train themselves, because, you know, going through university could be difficult, so you really have to delay your gratification by 4 years. And it also goes for the bigger life plans. So if you really want to have the only determined precursor for success, you have to learn this, that okay, today I'm not going to have this cake because I'm going to fit into that pair of jeans in a month time. That kind of a thing, it's extremely powerful, and you can kind of like train yourself with small things. I'm just kind of giving this up now because then and then I can do this, and as long as you keep positioning yourself toward these goals, that is going to be extremely it's going to be something that will dominate you in a really good way, because you also have the clever in the house of the clever, because the bear is also talking about our possessions, right? And what do we know about bears? They kind of like gain weight for the winter, and yeah, don't touch mama bear if cubs are around, right? So it is a card of haves and have-nots, and it is the card where, you know, you're kind of like saying, you know what, I really have to figure out what I need to do, and this is where I'm right now, and this is like where I want to be. And almost looks to me that, and it could be connecting to like the really waking up with this like new Mars in Aquarius, and Scorpio and Aquarius are two most powerful signs, one being the deepest, one being the highest. So it's almost like mirrored energy in two different ways, and you're going to be really activated with this Mars. And I really think that also be very careful with people who you surround with, because this card is powerful, but again, if you have to keep defending yourself and your cubs, meaning whatever you have, maybe your children, this is kind of like a thing. So this also can talk about protective energy, like a mother or a father, boss, kind of like pastor. It's kind of like also somebody who kind of like watches over you, that also can be a heavier person, or maybe you are thinking about losing some kind of like weight. This also talks about kind of like eating. So I don't know, like if this kind of like appeals like to any of you, but I just mentioned this because I see the tree on the same kind of like trajectory, and tree talks about health, and it's also in the house of a tower, which means, and it's knighting the tower, which is in the house of the woman. So I actually do see women getting on some kind of like health program, especially the bouquets over here, which is one of those like a good surprise kind of cards in the house of the partner. Maybe you're going to do something with your partner, or you know, you kind of have something with a partner in mind. So for example, you want a date, you want to be more presentable, or you have an event. Especially in the northern hemisphere, we have things coming, you know, like up like in the summer, and so we all can kind of like all can strive to have the beach body. So another thing, Scorpio, that I'm seeing over here is kind of like this nice cluster of the cards. Having been here positioned in the stork house, some of you might be thinking about moving, but I don't really think that's going to materialize until really sometime later. Maybe not even this year, but there is like something that you're definitely thinking about how to go about that. It looks like that right now you are where you are. You're kind of deciding, okay, I have to stay there, and you are kind of like moving forward certain things that are doable, that could be of the financial nature, that could be things at work, because you also have the fox here, but the fox that is in the house of a dog. So this can tell me that you might have some frenemies at work, right? In fact, don't look at people who you kind of like know that you are that they are outwardly hostile, or that they're outwardly bad mouthing you. Kind of like look for somebody who is kind of sly, right? Somebody who might have an ulterior motive, right? Somebody who will be complimenting you. You, Scorpio, I don't have to tell you, you are this highly intuitive sign. In my school, like exactly 50% of people are Scorpios, so no wonder. And I'm actually loving it because I'm feeling this enormous energy that Scorpios can kind of like immerse, and you guys are fearless, right? And fierce too. So I don't know, like, I mean, this actually could mean taking a new look at your work and how you do it and how you perform it, because this actually can also really mean getting a new job, or kind of like going in that direction as well, right? So just, you know, pay attention to this person, because it's really close to your house. So you're either working from your house, or this person somehow is a closer to you, right? And I think there is a time to kind of like crack this whip and move forward. Now, cracking the whip is also that person could be literally your partner, or could be somebody you're confining in, where you maybe find that somebody close to you is actually, I would not say destructive, but I would say not constructive. So somewhere in that kind of like gray zone that is kind of like hard to define, right? Now, the good news is here that your partner, or maybe if you're single, somebody will be coming through like in the next few months who is extremely loving. So it could be this new job, or it could be, again, because you might be setting some kind of like maybe new goals, new business plans. Maybe you would be revamping your portfolio, because I do see here it's kind of like the fish in the house of the anchor that is right here above you. So like I can see, and you guys are really good strategists, right? And you are kind of like you're not looking just for the immediate. This is like not such a bad management. You literally kind of, as I said, delay gratification. Let's go like 4 steps forward. And I really see that you laying this like well thought plans over here. Now this person here, it's either your partner who has a child, and the child is in the house of the pets. There is like something going on, and maybe something long distance. It looks like the partner is going to have, because the coffin is in the house of the heart, and yet the heart is over here in the house of the child. There is like, looks like to me, something either happening with a child, with the child, or that could be some new project, because I also see here, like, I mean, swerving activities and something being refreshed. And kind of like something that's going to end up being bittersweet, because you have the sun in the house of the moon and you have the key in the house of the sun. So something is going to get unlocked, maybe not necessarily on your terms, but it's going to be something that's going to be revealed. There is like somebody in this person's life who's creating lots of problems, and these are like actually financial problems. Lots of communication that goes all over the place. It could be even very confusing, very deflecting. So some of you have the fox here, but others have the snake and the cross. It's kind of like karmic lessons, and something has to really be learned because the kite is here. I'm really thinking here, while some of you will be paying attention to your physical health and possibly fitness, the others will be doing more spiritual work and more self-esteem work, I would say. You have these lilies in the fish there. It looks like that some of you have had something in the past. So that's what I said. The child can talk about some kind of like past projects that you had that are actually reactivating and coming to the fore. And I can see it here as well. That could be something entrepreneurial. So you would, maybe some of you kind of like going this kind of like new direction with this like 9-to-5 job, but the others can actually think about kind of like new venues. Like you have the crossroads right next to kind of like exploration and crossroads and networking with this. It could be some kind of contracts also, because of it might be kind of a job where you're either a contractor for someone, so sort of you're selling your services, your expertise, and you are able to unlock this. The work is like really well positioned. That actually also could be somehow long distance kind of a thing, or it could be sort of like a job that's going to include lots of electronic communication, and it could actually mean relocation, or it could be relocation because of the child. Now, the confusing part for me is these two corners, the whip in the house of the ring and the ring in the house of the coffin, and the coffin in the house of the hearth. And this is like where it can get confusing, but I'm not going to get ahead of my skis over here, because this is like down the road. I'm going to do the Lenormand next week, where I can see like what will roll out here afterwards, so we can go into that a little bit more. So Scorpios, to really kind of like get me to read this for you, if you kind of like want to book your reading, just like mentioned, that you would want me to use Lenormand, and I usually do that in combination with tarot. So thank you so much for being here. I would love to hear your comments, and please make sure you subscribe and you like, and also join Facebook and Instagram for your daily tarot and kind of like some nice positive tidbits. Love you, Scorpio. Talk to you soon. All the best. Have a wonderful month.